name is Ryan Bond. I'm from the Dalles, Oregon. I was born in Yakima. We weren't farmers. My dad started farming when I was probably 4 or 5, moved up to Royal City when I was 9, and worked on an orchard up there when I was a kid. Started working when I was like 12 and swore I was never going to be a farmer. Dad swore I was never going to be a farmer. Went to WSU for turfgrass golf course management. Decided that wasn't really the life for me, I guess, and was waiting for something to open up. One day I was in the shop turning wrenches on a tractor. It was December, and Mr. Stewart, my dad's boss, called him up on the phone and said he wanted to talk to me. Answered the phone. He said, "Ryan, you want to run an orchard for me down in Oregon?" Sure. So February I was 23 years old and in charge of 200 acres in Parkdale and figuring it out. I mean, I had 200 acres and a boss man that said, "You're going to figure it out." And that's what I did. I mean, one day I got told I had 40 or 50 acres of cherry trees coming, and here's a book on steep leader training. That's what we're going to do. And bummed a tree planter and got them in the ground, figured out how to plant them. I had a guy, Rob Norton, who taught me a lot. He helped me out in my early years, kind of showing me the ropes, you know, and there was a lot of times in those early years I wished I'd have paid a lot more attention when I was working on the farm. Never going to do it again. My dad's always been a good help to me, so anytime I've had a question or a problem, I could give him a call, and he's ran into it before and heard a lot when I was younger, learned from others' mistakes. So, you know, don't do what your neighbor did wrong. Farming's not easy. If it was, everybody would do it. I mean, so don't expect to get the cushy job right in the pickup truck right off the bat. I mean, you're going to put in your hours and put in your time. I think I had to learn to work with people a little more, you know, to work with a crew, to not be, when you're 22 years old, 23 years old, and you're the boss man, boy, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of, boy, it's going to be my way or the highway, and I'm not going to bend, you know, and boy, it's awful tough to keep a good crew happy if that's how you go into it. So, you know, that's something I had to learn a little bit, and still learning. I mean, you never quit learning how to work with people, because people change and you change, and I lost blocks to Pseudomonas, and I lost the first cherry block I ever planted died to Pseudomonas. Well, that's an awful big hit to your pride, but it wasn't you. It was just, I mean, it hurts. It's not a pretty thing to go out there and see this thing that you've poured all this time and energy in, and you sat on the tree planter and put them in the ground, and you rolled out that irrigation tubing, and you pruned them when they were little babies. I mean, it's kind of like a kid. Everyone's kind of like a kid a little bit. Well, you got to move on, you know. Put something in there and learn. If it was something you did, you got to learn from your mistake. If it was nothing you did, you know, that's just how the dice roll, you know. You know, I remember when I first started, frost season was a chore. I mean, you would be up all night, babysitting fans, running fans, lighting smudge pots, you know, checking temperatures, gnawing your guts out because you weren't sure you were going to make it through that night. And 7 o'clock in the morning comes and you turn everything off. Well, now you got to get diesel and you got to get your guys lined out. And oh yeah, by the way, you're putting on a dormant spray too. So now you're out making sure all that's happening. And then 4 o'clock at night, you're laying in bed staring at the frost alarm going, man, I only got like 7 more degrees and I got to be up starting fans again. And it just keeps going, you know. So, you know, that's hard, but then you get to harvest and it's the payoff time, and you're picking that fruit that you grew and you were there and you did it, and it's one of those, you got a pride and ownership deal. I mean, that's what it takes to be a farmer, especially a young one. You got to have pride and ownership. If it's something that's just another job, it's not. It's a way of life. I mean, that's what it is.